man, God blessed me with this job, put me on this path. I could be doing anything. You know what I mean? Like
you could have played football.
Could be playing football, bro. I could be.
You could have played wide receiver in Canada.
Could have did that.
This is Talk Easy. I'm Sam Fragoso. Welcome to the show. You ready?
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Sam. For real,
it's nice to meet you.
Yes, it's nice to meet you as well, bro. And it's a lovely mug, bro. I never seen it with the with the etching on the inside. That's pretty incredible.
Well, we have a couple for you at the end of this.
Oh, nice. I appreciate that, bro. This is fantastic.
I want to jump right in, since we have so much to go through. Your previous film, Black Panther, Wakanda, when you made it, you said that it was, quote, coming from a place of being brokenhearted. It was like somebody had taken the sun away and we were all these floating planets. And I was thinking, like, when you find your way back to the page and start to write Sinners, what kind of place was it coming from? Sorry to jump in right from the deep end.
Nah, yeah. Gratitude. I was like excited and feeling grateful that I was like still here, you know.
But as in alive?
Yeah, alive and also like, yeah, man, like making that second Panther movie was a intense undertaking, bro. And somewhere like through through finishing it up, like I realized that this was gonna be like a career for me if it would have me, you know. Because each one of the movies before that, I figured like it was a good chance I can like you know could like go to director jail or something, you know what I mean, or like people wouldn't want to take another risk on me.
Yeah. Each one you thought this could be the last.
I was convinced it was, you know, like.
And why were you convinced that? It had gone well from you starting with Fruitvale.
Yeah, but it's just one of them things where you know, pessimism or like imposter syndrome or
some fatalism as well.
Fatalism, yeah, like all of those things, bro. Like we're working. And then you know, like with the second Panther movie, like I hadn't realized how good I had it in that. Since I started making feature films, every script that I've written, I went and made. You know, does that make sense? I would write, you know, wrote Creed with my co-writer Aaron Covington, and we went and made it.
Yeah.
And then wrote Panther 1 with Joe Robert Cole, and we went and made it. You know, and it was really the same thing with Fruitvale. Like wrote that and then went and made it. With Panther 2. Wrote a script, and then, like, basically, like, right after I turned it in, Chadwick passed away. So then it was like we couldn't make it, you know. And that movie was written for Chadwick, you know. Like, so it was like, oh man, this could happen, you know, which is a reality for like a lot of you know, writers and writer directors to you know, you don't make every script that you write, you know.
Yeah, most of them.
Yeah. So I realized how good I had it in that circumstance, and then it was like, oh, can I figure out a way through this with my collaborators, with my studio, and then when we got into it, we experienced a lot of misfortune, you know, we had our lead actor was injured.
This is on Wakanda.
It's on, yeah, and she couldn't film for a long time, had to heal up, and you know, it was at a time when making movies was really hard. Everybody's mashed up, we in different zones, and it's more, you know, with when you were filming through the pandemic, everything became like 20% more expensive because of all of the COVID protocols, you know. and we were in Atlanta. Zinzi was pregnant, ended up having our son while we were like a month in.
And was it in Atlanta that you found Sinners?
Kinda, yeah. Like it was like a like pieces of it for sure.
Yeah.
Like on that movie, I saw my first cotton farm in person. Outside of Atlanta, it was in a city called Byron, Georgia, and I was listening to a lot of Young Dolph, and we got the word that he was murdered, while I was on that set, in Byron, and yeah, like something around that, and some conversations I had with my producer on that movie, Nate Moore, about the relationship between gangster rap and grunge music, seeing the cotton farm, all that was like, it was feeling like it was something there for me. And then, but the actual full blown idea came when I was home, like after the movie was out in the world. And
this goes back to your family, because my understanding is in the mid-90s, when you're about 11 years old, your family relocates from Oakland to Richmond, and you buy a house in Richmond. And then I think your uncle follows suit and buys a house down the block.
yeah.
And I'm trying to imagine this image, like you, 11, it's like a summer night, the Giants are playing well, the Blues is playing, the old Taylor whiskey is just cold enough. When all those things, that confluence came together, what kind of stories would your uncle tell you about living in Mississippi?
Man, they were all kind of dangerous.
Because he came to California on the run, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Like all the stories had like a they were all really cool. Some of them were heartbreaking. Like when he would talk about like the realities of what it was like to live down there as a sharecropper, and how he felt like it was more out there for him beyond Mississippi. But you could tell he missed it. Like, when he would talk about it, like that there was certain aspects about Mississippi that he missed.
What do you think he missed?
Obviously his family. But I also think that like whenever you talk to like a older older Black person about the South, and specifically like when you're in California or New York or Chicago, you'll find that there was a clarity to the South that is kind of obscured in other places. How people in the South didn't hide how they felt about you. You
mean the racism was out in the open?
Yeah, everything was.
Yeah, their politics.
Yeah. Everything was
they
on
had
the open.
they didn't dress it up.
Yeah.
And there was a part of him, I guess, like in his story, when you look back and you're kind of summoning those voices, those characters, those people that are part of your past, how do they find their way into Sinners?
Yeah, like, I mean, I was reaching for it. Like, even when I realized that was a movie, that this movie was gonna be about Mississippi, it was gonna be about blues music, it's gonna be about a juke joint, it was gonna be dangerous, sexy, fun. It was gonna be the kind of movie that my uncle and his sons, my other uncles would want to see, would enjoy. And I realized I was making a movie kind of for my grandma and my father-in-law, who's 95, from Chicago, parents from Mississippi, but that the movie would kind of be about them as young people, kind of bringing all the stories to life as best I can.
Somebody take me home tonight.
Blues, it wasn't forced on us like that religion. No, sir. We brought this with us from home. It's magic what we do. It's sacred. It's big.
There are legends of people born with the gift of making music so true it can pierce the veil between life and death, conjuring spirits from the past
Somebody take me.
and the future.
Somebody take me. In your arms tonight. Somebody take me.
And yeah, like, so when I was writing it, I was constantly like playing that music, constantly thinking about them, and you know, on certain days, I would actually write. You know, I wrote this movie everywhere, bro. I would write it in the backseat of Lyfts and Ubers. I would write it in the passenger seat while Zinzi was driving. I would write it at home, and I did a lot of writing like up on the coast, like the Northern California coast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was some days out there, bro, where I would take my iPhone and put it in this little wooden speaker box. That's like real real analog amplification system. And I would play like all blues records loud as I could while I was sitting on a cliff. Out in Northern California, like watching the vultures and the seagulls, and like I could feel myself just like yearning for wanting to spend time with my uncles, you know, while I was writing the lines of characters I would like talk like them. You know what I mean? And that was
it was like a way to spend time with them.
It was, man, and that's why I say I was writing it from a place of gratitude, because, you know, man, God blessed me with this job, put me on this path. I could be doing anything. You know what I mean? Like
you could have played football.
Could be playing football, bro. I could be.
You could have played wide receiver in Canada.
Could have did that. Could have did that, which would have been a cool way to make a living. But I could be doing. I could be working as a financial analyst. I could be doing gardening work, like one of my first jobs. I could do, you know, like how lucky was I to be able to do, you know, my work.
The work that your father's done with juvenile detention, you could have done anything.
Any of that stuff, yeah. But with this job, I get to just, you know, be creative and contemplate my uncle and contemplate, you know, my grandfather and unabashedly kind of reach for that connection.
Right.
You know, while making something, it was nice. And what was great about it was, you know, once we took the script out and got a studio home, ended up being with Warner Brothers, and we crewed up, other people would bring their stories, you know, to it as well. I'll hear about my cinematographer's family in Louisiana, or Mike's family in Arkansas. That type of thing was just, it became like a you know, a group effort. This practice of contemplation and remembrance.
And everyone brought it to the set.
Yeah, man. Every day.
You know, like that idea of reaching for a connection for you and your father, does that start back at the Grand Lake in Oakland when he takes you to see Boys in the Hood when you're 5 years old?
Definitely.
Why do you think he wanted you to see that at that age?
I mean, my dad, he was a young father, and the reality was, in looking back, he wasn't as close with his father as he would have liked to have been. And it was clear to me that he wanted his relationship with me and my little brothers to be better than his relationship that he had with his dad. And he was playing with a limited amount of tools.
What do you mean?
Just not a lot of examples of how to be a father. And he was young, you know what I mean? Like he had me when I think I was, I'm gonna do some loose math. My pop might have been might have been 25 when he had me. I mean, yeah, 61, 86. Yeah, he was 25.
I can't imagine being a father at 25. Me at 25?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, but I mean, but what's crazy about my dad's story is that I think he and my mom got married in 84. Right after they got married, his dad died, and then my mom's dad dropped dead.
Within like 2 weeks of each other,
after
right?
that. Yeah.
And he built your house, right?
He built the second story of my grandma's house. Yeah, it's just a 2-story house in North Oakland, and it was 2 stories since I can remember. But needless to say, by the time I was born, both my mom and my dads had just recently passed away. So it wasn't like he could go talk to them about, what it's like to raise a kid, raise a son. And this was Oakland. It's a tough time.
That feels like an understatement. Yeah.
Yeah, where my dad was from East Oakland. My mom's family's from the north, and it was a brutal time for the city. And so my pops was finding his way. Like, and I think that he had heard that these movies in particular are movies for fathers to take their sons, black fathers to take their black sons, like specifically with Boyz in the Hood. And then we were there opening night, and yeah, it changed my life, man. Just. But my dad was like that, bro. Like he was constantly, he would read books on how to be a father. Like he was constantly making the, making the effort. And I think we wound up in that cinema as a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a part of that effort. Yeah.
In a recent DGA speech that you gave, you said you've wanted to be a director since you were 17 years old.
Yeah.
And found out what it was. Yeah. What happened at 17?
Yeah, 17, bro. I was on football scholarship at St. Mary's College, and it's a liberal arts school, and I had a teacher who taught creative writing. Like, she read something that I wrote, and then she was like, asked me to come by and see her, and she recommended that I basically she said I go to Hollywood and write screenplays.
That's my understanding. Is so you leave your childhood bedroom, which is like lined with posters of Tim Hardaway and Jerry Rice. You're playing at St. Mary's on a football scholarship. And when you're not running post routes, you start to write a little bit under the direction of Rosemary Graham.
Yeah, so truly, bro, like I was majoring in chemistry, at the time. So I was banging my head against the wall, bro, like trying to complete my math and science requirements, like prerequisites, and I was having a tough time because the labs took up more time than I had to offer with my football schedule, and I was playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was seeing like significant playing time as a true freshman. So it was serious for me, bro. Like football was taking I was gonna have to change majors.
Mm-hmm.
I was essentially failing, bro. And I was overwhelmed. In this school is a liberal arts college where you have to, no matter even if you're a chemistry major or a business major, you have to select like out of these English classes and religious studies classes too. Like it was things you had to do, and so I picked creative writing. I think because I thought it would be easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was kind of how I ended up picking it. Like, and so I wasn't really writing, bro. Like I was just doing football and being a failed chemistry major, bro. Like and she assigned that first day of class, she assigned, write about your most emotional experience. I want to get to know you guys. I want to get to know your writing style.
What did you write about?
I wrote about my dad, bro. Like something happened with my dad's health. We had like a medical emergency. And yeah, I just wrote about that. And it recently happened. It happened like maybe while I was my senior year in high school or something.
Yeah.
And so I wrote about that. Didn't think much of it, but I did have the instinct to want to impress that teacher though, because I liked her. Like the first thing she said was like, somehow she was like, "Y'all think football is a barbaric sport," and like it shouldn't be a thing. And I kind of took offense to it, but also like appreciated her honesty. So we got into like a little bit of a back and forth, like the first day of class, because I don't think she knew that I was a football player. And then one of my homies was in there; he was a football player too. And I was like, this teacher's interesting. And she assigned an assignment. I was like, man, I like to impress her, you know. So I worked hard at it, but didn't think much of it after I turned it in. And then she called me in and suggested that I think about making movies. And then when she said that, it was one of those things when somebody says something and it keeps echoing in your mind. It bounced around pretty good, and I remembered how much I love movies and how it had been a lot of situations like in my life before where I had directed things, but didn't realize that that was what I was doing.
Well, like what?
Man, bro, like Sam, it was a lot. Like I had a homie who I came up with, my partner Terrence, who reminded me. He was like, "Hey, man, remember we used to make movies with my mom's camera, like when we were coming up." And I was like, "Oh yeah, we did. Like we would do, like he would do like stand up, cause he was pretty funny."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Hey, let's get the camera and we'll record you doing stand up, and we'll show our parents and make them laugh." you know what I'm saying? And then when I was like in the 6th or 7th grade, we had to do an assignment for Animal Farm, the book Animal Farm, like a book report, a group project. And somehow I was like, "Hey, we should make a movie," and we did stop motion, like with the little army guys, and we made a volcano, and because I used to like science, and I knew how to make a volcano explosion and stuff. So we recorded that in my parents' garage. And I did theater arts in high school, and I remember one year I wrote a play, but I asked the teacher, "Hey, yo, can I record this play?" So so it's not on the, I did all of these things.
Right. So when she says that, said that, it kind of locks something into place.
Man, bro, it took me back, and I was like, "Yo, is this what I was always like?"
Right.
Was this what I was always kind of doing?
She saw something that you didn't see.
Yeah. No, totally, man. So I remember I told Zinzi, because we were together back then, at different schools.
And she bought you Final Draft, right?
She did.
Why do you think she bought it?
Yeah, bro. We used to be honest with you, bro, we used to buy each other shit all the time. Like we came up in similar ways, and we were long distance, so we were like on the phone all the time, bro. And we would.
So you got to make gestures.
Make gestures, bro.
Yeah, when you're that far.
And she's an incredible listener, and the most amazing gift giver I've ever met, bro. Like she's constantly listening, and
she heard you talking about Microsoft Word.
Yeah, she'll remember like a random thing that you might have mentioned. Like you might lament that, "Oh man, like I'm, this thing's really annoying because I got to do this," and she'll log it. And that's just the type of person she is, bro. Like, she's like an incredible friend, bro. And I think it was like a gesture of like friendship, but also she was like the first person to kind of believe in me, like believe that
there's something here.
Yeah, that I could do something with this, which is so valuable, bro. Because like you'll hear about people who have relationships with people, maybe you're in love with a person who's kind of like cynical, who's like, hey, I want to do this thing, and it's like, "Oh man, get the fuck out of here! You'll never do that." Like there are people who exist like that, where that's their natural reaction.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like she's like the total opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like so I was blessed to have somebody, like that.
There are a lot of podcasts out there and plenty of ways to do an interview, but my preference has always been to do these in person. There's nothing better than sitting across a table and being face to face with someone, which is why I try to meet guests where they are, both metaphorically and geographically, and to do that, I have to do a lot of traveling. So I pack up my gear, get on a plane, and head to Philadelphia to talk to Terry Gross, or New York City for Viola Davis, or Santa Barbara for Gwyneth Paltrow. And so I'm in these cities away from my home, and I'm always sitting there thinking, someone should enjoy my place, right? Imagine you're traveling, and instead of worrying about your idle apartment or home, at least that's what I do, you can make some extra money by hosting your place on Airbnb. And then when you return, you can put that money toward a nice dinner, or some renovations, or even another vacation. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. If you've been watching Talk Easy on YouTube, you know that I tend to stick to a few familiar pieces, including the one I'm wearing right now. I try to build up my wardrobe intentionally with items that are good for every day, even as the seasons change. Quince has essentials I keep coming back to. Lightweight cashmere sweaters, linen bottoms and shorts, and tees and 100% Pima cotton. And because Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middlemen, you're not paying for brand markup. Just quality clothing that's built to last and made with real attention to ethical production. I have a couple cashmere sweaters from Quince, including the one I'm wearing right now, that have held up great even over the months living in New York and Los Angeles as the seasons change. They look great, they don't break the bank, which keeps me coming back for more and more. Right now, go to quince.com/talkeasy for free shipping and 365-day returns. Get the full year to build your wardrobe and love it. You will. Now available in Canada too. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Go to quince.com, quince.com/talkeasy for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/talkeasy. I want to talk about your first movie. It's called Fruitvale Station, and rewatching it, I was thinking about how much it reminded me of Mean Streets or Do the Right Thing.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like these early films from Scorsese and Spike Lee, they are filled with a kind of energy of a young person. You know what I mean? Like it's angry.
Yeah.
There's a sense of urgency. You can feel their youthfulness.
Yeah.
When you look back, like, why do you think it was important for you to tell Oscar Grant's story at the age that you did? Because you were 24, 25.
Yeah. I think it's so important because it's rare. Because filmmaking is so expensive, and because it's expensive, there's a risk management element to decisions that get made around filmmaking, and what's more risky than inexperience? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think arguably nothing. You know, like, so what ends up happening is movies are generally made by older people, by and large.
Or by committee.
But even like the act of directing is something that people are more comfortable with older people doing it. I think as a result of that risk management, you want somebody who's done it before. You want somebody who feels responsible. You want somebody who feels, quote unquote, like an adult. You know, you'll even hear that phrase, bro, in filmmaking. It's like, hey, yo, you'll hear the, you hear a line producer or, hey, make sure it's an adult in the room. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's been there, who's gonna make a responsible decision. And
yet, look what happens when it breaks through. I mean, Fruitvale, Do the Right Thing, Mean Streets, early films by early filmmakers.
Yeah, all of it, man. Like I think it's important, man. Like I think that young people have something to say. Oscar Grant III, rest in peace, was incredibly young when he was murdered. Like that was kind of the point, like that was one of the factors for me. Cause he and I were essentially the same age, you know. So when it happened and I saw it, you know, it was clearly like a case of there but not for the grace of God. I go all right type of thing, you know, like where you seeing like a mirror image of yourself being executed, you know, on camera. And when somebody's murdered when they're young like that, with each day that goes by, like by the time I roll cameras, you know, I had 3-4 more years of life than he had. By the time I met his daughter and his family, you know, Dad had, you know, his daughter was basically twice the age she was when he was murdered. When I met her for the first time, you know, she's a grown woman now with her own family, you know. All of that basically like froze her father in place, you know. And so that for me, for whatever reason, I felt like I had to make that movie as soon as possible while I was still, because I could feel as I got older, it was chipping away at the optimism of what the movie maybe could do, You know.
What do you mean?
You know, I wanted people to see the movie and you know, start murdering people for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, like and for it to help, so that we're not seeing video of public service executing people. You know, and you know, I was naive enough to think that a film could make a difference for something that has that many machinations, that much, you know, that much historical context. That's and a part of that was my youth, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense because I was 18 going to San Francisco State when I watched that movie for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And I remember thinking, like, it plays like a cautionary tale. And when I rewatched it this week, it felt like a prophecy.
Oh, man.
It felt like every bit of news we've seen for the last 14 years.
Mm.
And I wondered if time has chipped away that optimism, how you see the film now and what.
I don't watch my movies. Like once I make them, I don't go back and look at them.
But do you still think movies can do what they did? Or do you still think that movies can do what you thought they could do back then?
I got a more complicated view on it now. I think that everything plays its part, you know? I think that filmmakers, we got to play our part. Audiences got to play their part. And that includes everybody else, you know, like you know, your journalists, your teachers. And then there's the public servants, you know? Not just the ones that pull the triggers in videos like this, but the people who create the policy, you know? So it's all like one organism. It's my point of view on it now. I was nearly 40 years old. You know, like that movie was about a young father, right? We started this conversation off talking about this. The first thing Oscar said when he was shot and realized that his life was in danger, he said, I have a daughter. That was the first thing he said. You shot me, I got a daughter, right? This man in his early 20s. I was not a dad yet when I made the movie. I didn't know if I wanted to have kids when we wrapped that movie.
You weren't sure?
Wasn't sure. Yeah, like and now I have 3. You know, I don't think I could make that movie now, bro. I don't think I could show up day one and say, all right, roll camera. With the context now of what actually happened that day. You know what I'm saying? Like the context of understanding what was actually taken. You know what I mean?
The history of domestic carnage.
Yeah, bro. Like so I think that for me, what I think, like I said, at 40, bro, I think I pray that there's a teacher somewhere speaking positivity into a naive person, you know, who's crazy enough to go out and you know, convince people to, like, empower them to make a movie about something they want to see affected.
To imagine a different, better world.
Yeah.
You know, but your father, growing up, he would tell you, more is caught than taught.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you say it all the time.
And I'm thinking, when you head into Creed and then Black Panther, did that influence the way you direct and run a set? Like, what does that mean to you? More caught than taught.
The context my dad was making that statement in was, he was talking about parenting, and how he can, like, the teaching part is like when you tell a kid, hey, don't do this thing, don't do that. That's the teaching. The caught is the kid observing your behavior. Through consistent observation. The kid is gonna kind of inherit your actions. You know, as opposed to what you saying. You know what I mean? If you're saying to not do something, but the kid sees you doing it all the time, you know, like they're gonna catch that habit, as opposed to like observing what you're teaching them. What I took from it for sure is just like leadership, how to lead on set. And for me, when I was like on a Creed or a Fruitvale or even like the first Panther, I would try to like just lead through example, trying to be attentive and really kind of like work tirelessly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think some of it came from like the anxiety that I felt, you know, from being young with a big job.
You're thinking you may not have the job on Monday.
May not have a job Monday. I have people who are department heads that have been doing their job since before I was alive. You know,
the adults in the room.
Yeah, and now it's my responsibility to lead this person, and feeling the anxiety about that. So saying, all right, I gotta work extra hard. I gotta be extra early. You know, that kind of thing is how I would translate. I would say by the time I was on my coming out of film school, but really like it crystallized for me. I think around the first or second Panthers was just like kindness, like you know, like leading with kindness. Is the biggest one, because you can say to everybody, hey man, we're gonna have a kind set, we're gonna have a respectful set. You can say those words, and I think every leader should say those words, like but that's the teaching part, right? The caught part is how are you acting every day? Like, are you treating, are you coming with kindness first and respecting every interaction? You know, because those interactions are being observed at all times. You know, and if you could set the tone like that, then that could go a lot further than just giving it lip service. You know, so that's something I carry with me for sure from that phrase my pop had.
I'm thinking about you as the first person on set, last person to leave, and how, Uncle James was the impetus for Sinners. And when he passed away, you were picture locking on Creed here in LA, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, looking back and even now, about sacrifice and how you grapple with the fact that your ambition, your dreams, which are shaped by the people who you grew up with, the neighborhoods that you came up in. How do you reckon with the fact that those dreams pushed you further away from home?
A lot of that worked its way in the Sinners for sure. A lot of times it's referred to like the Faustian bargain, but it's a very old staple of blues music. The musician who sells a soul for guitar skills, and our movie is many things, but it's also like a meditation on that idea, like the cost of things, whether that's freedom, whether that's a career,
ambition.
Yes, like in characters leaving home, like it's a big thread in this movie.
Same with Creed.
Yes, yeah. It is the same with Creed. Like, but this idea that sometimes home is the cost of the dream, and its pursuit, and this idea that sometimes you can take home with you, whether you like it or not, like it's coming with you, and because I can't think about my uncle and not think about that, and I think about the fact that I didn't make it to Mississippi until 10 years after he died, but he brought Mississippi with him to Oakland and to Richmond, and we went there, mentally, spiritually, when he would tell those stories. But it took me a while to boomerang back there physically.
To see it face to face.
Yeah. To see it face to face. And that tension, it's very real, bro. Like it's a true tension that like almost every human being has, especially in this country,
The push and pull.
Yeah. The push and pull, bro. Like yeah, and like for me, I think back, like he was my main encourager.
Yeah, when you were shooting Creed, and you were homesick,
I'll call him.
Would he send you messages
all
and
the
stuff?
time? Yeah, all the time. I still have one of them.
Did you save them to your phone?
Oh yeah. And I saved one because it was so powerful that I would listen to, but I didn't save all of them.
What did he say?
Oh, he just said. Let me think if I could. So he says hello. can you hear me? Because he's talking to my cousin Wendy. He's I'm hoping that you'll be all right out there. I know you're getting kind of homesick, but like Albert King says, just hang in there. It's gonna be all right. We love you. That's what he said. Yeah. So it's crazy, bro. Like he was quoting a blues song to give me, like motivation to stick with it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Of course, like you couldn't have known then on Creed that blues song
I
would
know.
find its way in the Sinners. Like that's so amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's it almost feels like predestined or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's definitely metaphysical.
Yeah.
I would say from our perspective.
There's no way to make sense of it. I wouldn't even want to try.
Yeah.
Lately I've heard you talk a lot about regret. It seems to be on your mind.
Yeah.
A whole lot. And like athletes, they don't look back until they're retired.
Yeah.
Right? In part because they can't, because every night they got to go out there and perform. They can't look at
you got a bad memory.
Outside of game tape, that's the only thing you can look back on.
Yeah.
But since we're together, and I was thinking like we're kind of at the end of this road.
Yeah.
With the Oscar run and all that stuff. Is there something in this moment together?
Yeah.
That we could hold and appreciate now that happened between Creed and Black Panther that you couldn't or didn't back then?
I would say working with Chadwick, bro. Like working with Chadwick. Like working with Mike, I never take for granted. And I think because of the relationship with Chad, like because he was casted for Civil War, like which was a casting choice that I wasn't involved with, So when I came on to Panther, they were still editing Civil War, so I got a chance to see his performance. But I was like, I gotta meet this guy, because up to this point, the only lead actor I'd ever worked with was Mike. Like I was like, I gotta meet him, make sure I get along with him, make sure he gets along with me.
Right.
And I remember our first meeting, just being pretty blown away by him as a person. I never met a person like that. You know what I mean? Like it was a one-on-one meeting, hotel room, similar to this. And I remember just thinking like, oh, thank God that I like this guy. He likes me. We can work together.
Yeah.
I just feel gratitude that we got along and
Yeah, that this is gonna work.
Yeah, we're gonna have a shot at, we could, I had no idea that he would be like the actor that he was. I seen his stuff. Chadwick didn't have a bad take on that movie, bro. Like it was no take where it was like, all right, we're gonna throw that out and then get to this. He was so good, and then it was like he was a great leader, because that's a complicated movie, bro. A lot of personalities and a lot of people that can and had like held their own movie down before. It's Angela Bassett, it's Forrest Whitaker, it's Lupita Nyong'o, it's Daniel Kaluuya. Just after Get Out, like I think Get Out came out while we were filming that. It's Forrest Whitaker, who gave me my shot, and it's all of these
Sterling K. Brown,
Sterling K. Brown for a couple of days, bro. Like at the height of This Is Us, Andy Serkis, bro. Andy Serkis, Martin Freeman, like post, Sherlock and Fargo. You know what I mean? Like it was just like littered with people who had been number one on several call sheets. You know what I'm saying? Like and this dude was at the center of it all, man. And just making it happen every day. And protecting me, bro, like kind of like a guardian angel over me through the process. Just his trust in me was enough to keep so much heat off my back.
And what do you wish you could have done then?
I wish I could have just probably thanked him more and been more present. I think just in that relationship, because it was all work for me, and I had so much pressure that I didn't want him to see me not working. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I was, I never let my guard down around him while we were on the clock, And I wish I had, you know, like looking back on it, like I wish I had just taken time to just chill with him and hang with him instead of it being so much about shop. We eventually got there, and once the movie was done, you know what I'm saying. But his time was so limited after, you know. So yeah, looking back on it, I would have just like let myself breathe more and really just relish that experience. You know what I'm saying? Of having the trust of a great man and a great actor.
But that's what imposter syndrome does. It
robs you. Yeah, it's an incredibly efficient thief, bro. Like, it's a hell of a thief. Yeah,
it obscures vision.
Yeah.
It tells you things that aren't true.
Yeah. It doesn't let you be present.
It robs you of presence.
Yeah. And he was a mastermind at that, bro. He was a mastermind at being present. Like, I've learned from him since his passing. Like, you know, just videos of him and remembering conversations with him and wondering, like, man, what is he doing? Because he would do this thing when we would talk, like I'll give him a note or some feedback, he'll close his eyes. You know what I mean? And just breathe. And I remember first few times, like, yo, is he sleepy? You know what I'm saying? Which he could have been, you know what I'm saying? But no, it was him, you know, it was him centering himself. So I use that, bro. I use that tactic now with everything. Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about your future as a filmmaker, but also the industry at large.
Yeah.
You know, because right now there's a lot of talk about AI, and I think the general perception of movies is like the completed film, the red carpet, a tuxedo, way too many award shows, and people don't know
that's not the job.
That movies are made by blue collar, working class, dues paying union members.
It's a strange paradox, bro.
So everything I've read about AI and all the reporting that I've read on it, it seems very much interested and inclined to take jobs, to cost cut and consolidate.
Yeah.
How do you see this? Like, how do you see the future with this technology and how it threatens to break apart this kind of surrogate filmmaking family that's created on set?
It's definitely a source of anxiety. And for me, because obviously I'm a member of two incredible unions, Directors Guild of America and Writers Guild of America. And yeah, I think every piece of technology is it has a potential threat to jobs, to the process. With all these technological advancements that I've seen as I've been in the business, the hidden threat is always like what it does to the audience. You know, like how the audience is trained.
Right.
It's kind of lost on people how, you know, audiences have muscle memory that can atrophy and that can develop. You know what I mean? Like just the habit of the infinite scroll. You know what I'm saying? Like which is something that you could walk outside in a public space.
I heard you.
And you can see.
You called social media the devil.
When I do that?
With Carmelo on 7 p.m.
that's
in
funny.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Man, but I think that like just the infinite scroll,
I think
right?
You're right.
I think the infinite scroll, like that thing, that's a normal thing. Like everybody knows what that means now in 2026, right? You know, if you look outside, you can see people doing it on public transit, standing around. Like that just that motion, that concept.
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago is not a thing.
But the muscle memory of the scroll, that's strong. That muscle is strong.
That muscle's strong, but like observing a different story or a different joke or article or observation or human insight with everyone that's you know, like that's a new thing. Like and so for me, like I look at it, you know, obviously I got concerns about both memberships I'm involved with, our sister unions, the whole industry. But I'm also, the reason that we can do all of that we do is because the audience engages with what we make.
People who show up.
People know, you know, Friday night, new movie come out. People know Discount Tuesdays. They know what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like in my concern is like twofold. This new system could produce things that confuse the audience, that forms new habits and that connection with cinema, you know. You know, that's one. And then the other one is like loss of jobs, like which is a real thing in a capitalist environment, right? Like the human factor is always gonna be the most expensive thing.
So what do we do with that?
I think we gotta do our part. Like, I think informed audience members have to do their part. If things made by human beings matter to you, if that's what you like, you know what I mean, show up for those things, advocate for those things, like. And then for us as filmmakers and members of these story unions, these story labor organizations, we gotta advocate. You know what I mean? We gotta continue to lock arms and communicate with each other, and find ways to protect what we have, and to be forward thinking about how to protect it for the future, you know.
But forward thinking, at least for you, as I've read, you didn't imagine making movies past a certain point.
Yeah.
And in The New Yorker, you told Jelani Cobb, longevity has been something that is not associated with blackness.
Yeah.
But it should be.
Yeah.
And when I read that, I immediately thought you at 5 years old watching Boyz in the Hood at Grand Lake.
Yeah.
And the late John Singleton.
Yeah.
Who died way too early.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in this conversation about longevity? What does that mean to you now?
I got kids now, and I want to see them. I want to see them get I want to see them get old. You know what I mean? So, and filmmaking is life for me. So I hope to.
But you didn't feel that until Sinners, right?
Yeah.
That's what you said I think that's the first thing you said when you sat down.
Yeah. Cause I thought I was like on my way out, bro. like each time, you know.
How could you think that it went so well every at bat? I think you were 4 for 4.
I mean, it depends on who you talk to. Like
okay, in my book, you're 4 for 4.
I appreciate that, man. Like yeah, like I think that again, it's that imposter syndrome. And it's also just like knowing stories, bro. Like, you know, but Boyz in the Hood, Malcolm X, they got similar endings. And I knew a lot of stories that had similar endings to those movies, just personally, you know. So it wasn't like, and then like you say, bro, the filmmaker who made Boyz, right? We didn't get to see.
He was 51.
Yeah, man. We didn't get to see John make a movie in his 50s, his 60s, his 70s, his 80s, like we see with
Scorsese.
Yeah. Or you name him, you know. It's a real thing, bro. I was looking forward to the movies. You know what I mean? Like,
me too.
You know, this specter of fatalism, it wasn't as if it hadn't been being reinforced, bro. You know, like
you weren't imagining it.
No. Yeah, and it took like a level of life lived to understand, oh yeah, I gotta claim this other thing. Maybe a part of that pressure is what took John from us, you know? The difficulty in blazing those trails and
the toll of that.
The toll of that, bro. Like the toll of making Boyz in the Hood at 21. How many conversations you had to have about Cash and Cube or ending the film the way he chose it. You know what I mean? Like having had conversations, and all of my conversations came after John, after Spike, after Denzel.
Right.
You know,
they had paved.
They had paved, bro. Like, so when I walk in, I'm not like you know, an anomaly. you know what I mean? Like in I went to the same school John went to. You know what I mean? I was literally like stepping in the trail that he was cutting in front, and And still, I felt the pressure. So I can only imagine what he was, you know, he was feeling and wrestling with. You know, so for me, it is like, okay, yeah, I want to at least try to be in it for the long haul. You know, like what does that look like? You know, but what I will say is like that the film for me was like a proof of concept that you can make a movie with people that you love, you know, about subject matter that you love, and you can affect the audiences that way. That was what the takeaway from that film was for me. So many of my friends and loved ones were involved with this movie, and I think that actually made it better. You know.
My last question.
Yeah.
You know, when you screened the film back at Grand Lake, where you watched Boyz n the Hood, Malcolm X, your father went to that screening. I have two questions. Where did he sit? And what was that night like for you?
Yeah,
Can you like play it back for me?
I do. Yeah, my dad sat in the back. He actually probably sat not far from where we sat when we watched those other movies. He was definitely in the same section, but he sat in the back. And then I sat like maybe 40 rows up from him with my mom's family. And my mom is a big cinephile, bro. A bigger cinephile than my dad even. And in front of me was her mom, my grandmother, who I think makes 98 this year. And she watched almost the whole movie. She took one bathroom break.
I gotta take like 2 or 3. So
yeah, she did good, man. And she enjoyed it. But bro, that screening was insane, bro. Like it was the craziest. It was the craziest screening I've ever been at. Like, and I think Zinzi will tell you, my assistant Amara will tell you, bro, that screening was nuts, bro. Like, so the Warriors came. A bunch of folks from the Warriors pulled up. And it wasn't just like the current Warriors, it was like old school Warriors too. Like Chris Mullin was there. You know what I mean? Like it was it was completely insane, bro. Like, and people were just talking to the screen constantly. One of my old football coaches was there, Coach Preacher. And he called me afterwards, and he was like, "Yo, I've never been to a screening like that." You know,
was it emotional for you?
Oh yeah, big time, man. But more than anything, it was fun, bro. Like it was like a good time at the movies, bro. Yeah. Like, which was nice.
That's why you make the movies.
100%, bro. 100%.
We have to go, so I wanted to tell you. There's a quote I read. He reflected light, he refracted it, and when he did, he showed the greatness of our people and the universe of our shared humanity. That's what you said about the late Chadwick Boseman when he got his star on the Walk of Fame. I think that was like the first time you spoke about him in public.
Yeah.
And I have to say, when I saw that speech, which was emotional, that description is exactly how I would describe what you do in your work.
Oh, man.
And so I just wanted to thank you for all that you've done and reflecting light and refracting it.
Well, I appreciate you, Sam. Thank you, bro.
Ryan Coogler.
Thank you. Awesome, man. So you went to SF State?
Yeah.